Welcome back to Raising Jaxon. It's been a long time between posts. We've been a little busy and had a few little setbacks, so it's just been sort of focusing my attention where it's been needed. I'm finally going to get to the BioMed post that I wanted to do, so the way we sort of treated him with supplements, vitamins and minerals. So I want to start this post by saying, if you're looking at going down this road, don't do it alone. Don't do it unsupervised, because it's such a tricky thing to work your way through that you really need someone there who can, read your blood tests properly, who can see the reactions that they may be having from supplements and advise a different dosage, a different course of treatment. So it is super important that you do this supervised. But in saying that, also, doing your own research and that sort of thing is always a good idea. So in the link of this video, I will post the nutritionist that we saw and had really good results with. She's Brisbane based, but she does Skype, and I know she does Skype with people interstate. And I'll also post like a BioMed support group where, if you're looking for a local one, you can sort of ask the ladies on there who they're using and get some feedback on a local nutritionist. So we basically started when he was about 11 months old with our nutritionist, and we had already seen a lot of medical professionals to address any medical needs he had. So this was just to sort of help his vitamin and mineral level balance out, and address any sort of nutritional deficiencies that he had, because as he hadn't been eating for a good 6 months at this point, he was becoming quite deficient and malnourished. So I wanted to make sure that even if we were still just only breastfeeding, or able to give a little bit of a formula here and there, that he was being nutritionally sort of taken care of. So we started with gut healing, because a lot of his intolerances and stuff like that were due to some really bad gut damage, that prolonged exposure to dairy and soy and egg had done to his stomach. So again, like, if you're seeing these symptoms early on, don't just allow people to dismiss you. Act on it, because the long-term effect of this is quite severe. So we started with gut healing, and we started with a zinc supplement. It was a liquid, and we started with sodium phosphate and calcium phosphate and a probiotic. Now, in my haste to sort of see results, I started these all in 1 week. And looking back, that was just a terrible idea. Any advice that I could give someone that is starting supplements and that has a slightly intolerant child, or a child that doesn't seem to be able to tolerate different things or new introductions, start on the cautious side. Start on the smaller dose rather than the general dose, and work your way up to the general dose, and start each supplement individually. So start one, get up to your dose that you're looking to get up to, then start the next in conjunction with that one, get up to the dose you need to get to, that sort of thing, versus sort of just putting them all together. So we treated with these for probably around 2 months. And we did see improvement, in like his GI symptoms. But the bloods that I'd had done for him also showed that he was significantly low in vitamin B, like in his vitamin Bs, and a few other things that we sort of had to address. So because it was extremely difficult to get him to actually take anything, I got these compounded, including the zinc. So I got these compounded into like a cream that I would rub on him every day. And this is a very, very slow way of doing it. However, it's better than nothing. And I mean, it is more efficiently if they will take it orally. but because we were still pretty much nil by mouth, I had to get it compounded into a cream. So things to watch out for, I guess, that we experienced with zinc is we experienced some severe mood swings. Now this could be because he was copper dumping. It could be that he just wasn't able to tolerate the dosage that I was giving, which was still a low dose. He just wasn't able to tolerate it. So I had to start by rubbing it on his skin to build up his tolerance level so it didn't sort of upset the balance in his body too quickly. The calcium phosphate is kind of the key to good poo and anti-inflammatory sort of things in the system. It's also meant to stabilize mood. He got really constipated on it, and that is a side effect in the short term, which he was already quite constipated, so it just compounded our problem. So again, I had to stop that and reintroduce at a much slower rate. The sodium phosphate we've never had any problems with, really helped his reflux. So the meds were still not quite cutting it, and I was able to give this in addition to medication, his PPI, if he was having like a flare-up. So from there we moved on to the vitamin B supplements orally, and saw much better results with them orally than in the rub. And we did that for about a month, as well as started an iron supplement. Now I didn't start, you know, the normal I think it's called folic acid or something like that. Not the folic acid, the ferroin ones, the little red ones. I didn't start them with him because they often cause constipation. I started with something called Spartan, and it's been really good. It's proven to not cause constipation. However, if you are already having constipation issues, I mean, it's not going to make it any worse, but it's not going to make it any better. So, and because when we'd had his bloods done, with his behavior, we were sort of looking at the possibility that he wasn't metabolizing his folic acid properly, or so when it's in bread, it's in everything. So we were advised to avoid foods with that in it, because they can generally trigger a really high anxiety response. So we started using methylfolate. Now this is something, like I know I stressed at the beginning, do not do this without proper supervision, because it is dangerous. So do not do it if you do not have someone watching you and guiding you how to do it. Other things need to be in place at a certain level for you to introduce it safely. So we did that, and we saw amazing results with his behavior. He just wasn't as anxious, and he was able to self-regulate a little better. So whereas before he would get very, very sort of separation anxiety with me in the same room, but if he was just not able to get to me in time, you know what I mean? And he would just shake and just fall apart. He was able to sort of, to get him back from that level, it took hours. Like, he was just a mess for hours. So to get him back from that level took a long time. But with the introduction of this, we were able to, I guess, he would get upset or he would get angry, but he would be able to come back from it much quicker. So with all of these introductions, these are the main ones that we introduced that I saw major improvements with my son. And they were all things done based on his blood work. So I know a lot of parents, the first thing is they're like, oh, I don't want to have to hold my child down, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I personally have a phobia of needles, so I get it. So what I do with him for his tests, and he's had 4 blood tests, and he's only 3 or 5, 4 or 5. And what I've done for him is I get Emla cream. Now you can get these in a patch kind of thing, or you can get the actual cream. What I do is I get the cream and I place it on his arm, or both arms depending, and this is also for vaccinations. I place it on his arms 2 hours prior, and I wrap it in Glad wrap because he doesn't deal with, like, he gets a rash from the stickiness of a band-aid. So I wrap it in Glad wrap, and then about 30 or 40 minutes before I go and get the test, so I put another blob on, and just before you say get in the car, so you know, you're getting ready to get in the car, you put it on, put another blob on the arms, get in the car, go to the pathology. So I can safely say he's really never reacted poorly in a blood test. So he doesn't like the tourniquet, he doesn't like that. But as far as the actual blood test, he's never acted poorly. Like, he's always been, he tells her to go away, but I mean, he's 3, so he doesn't like anyone touching him. So yeah, all of our blood tests have been really quite manageable. I've never had to forcibly hold him down. And I think because I've done that from a very young age, he's never really developed a massive aversion to the pathology lady, which is good because we have to keep going there. So I'll talk about the pros of what I saw when I started each individual supplement. So I've already sort of talked about the sodium phosphate and treating the reflux. The zinc. So the zinc, I honestly believe, did a lot for his tummy, did a lot for his immune system, but also did a lot for his appetite. So, you know, zinc is sort of responsible for appetite and smell and taste. So I think it did a lot for his appetite. And I've also known a few psychologists that recommend starting it when they treat people who are, you know, not overly enthused about food. I guess it sort of helps with, I mean, just a lot of things. It can really help with a lot of things. So the calcium, eventually, when we were able to introduce it, did help his poop and stuff. Like, once we got past the constipation, it did, you know, it changed it back. With the vitamin B supplements that we started, I was giving him a compounded capsule of vitamin Bs, and also I think it was the vitamin B liquid, just a little bit of that, and we saw massive improvements with his complexion. He didn't look quite as pale, if that makes sense. And now, whether that's due to him better absorbing iron or something like that, or whether that was just, you know, just because his body needed it, we saw his mood and his energy levels. Like, he was always very energetic, but instead of being like on edge energetic, he was just, I guess, more compliantly energetic. So yeah, and then the iron supplements. So I saw him just being less aggressive, maybe even sleeping a little better, like not a lot, but a little bit. So yeah, they're the sort of things that I had the most success with, and the things that I think, when we were treating, had the biggest bang for their buck. Because we did try a few other things, and he either didn't tolerate them, or they weren't what he needed, so they didn't really have much payoff. But even to this day, I use the sodium phosphate, I use the zinc, and I use the Vit B and the iron. It's all still currently beneficial for him, and yeah, we're sort of looking to go to the next round of treatment in the near future. So that's been the very basic BioMed post that I wanted to do. As I said, there's lots of information out there, so do your own research, but also don't do it unsupervised. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the stress, the frustration, the money that you'll spend to get no results. Like, it's just not worth it. So if you have any questions on this, please, you know, PM me or subscribe or leave a comment, and I can maybe go into further detail. Thanks. Bye.